The scribes of old would have hesitated to record what unfolded in the Celestial Emperor Cave, for it was not a tale of mere skill or chance, but of a mind unraveling the hidden threads of the world itself. Wang Lin, stepping among a sea of enchanted flowers whose beauty masked lethal intent, had already begun to perceive the secret dances of restriction and rust. The iron sword in his hand, innocent in appearance, yet harboring a devouring power, seemed almost alive under his scrutiny. The pavilion ahead bore the scars of another's passage, a reminder that he was no longer alone in these trials. As the first tremors of a distant roar split the air, signaling the arrival of a humanoid phantom whose speed defied comprehension, Wang Lin moved with a careful swiftness that belied the chaos erupting around him. Renegade Immortal Chapter 1045, Chapter 1046 plunges us into this precarious moment where every step, every decision, could tilt the balance between mastery and annihilation. Suspense coils tightly, for what lies beyond the black-fogged palace may change everything. In the heart of the Celestial Emperor Cave, a world of beauty and danger intertwined, where every blossom hid a trap and every step could be a test of life and death. The path before Wang Lin was lined with countless flowers, dazzling in their variety, yet cursed with insidious restrictions. One touch, one misstep, and a trap could ensnare, strike, or even whisk an unwary soul to another place entirely. To the untrained, the cave was an impenetrable maze. Even the celestial jades embedded in the path pulsed with danger. Step wrongly, and a silent snare would spring. Yet, for Wang Lin, these perils were mere puzzles. The jade map he carried didn't reveal how to dismantle the restrictions, but it meticulously cataloged them. For ordinary cultivators, such knowledge was a curiosity at best. But for a restriction grandmaster, these details were a key. Each symbol, each pattern a riddle his mind could unravel at a glance. Still, Wang Lin's cautious nature never allowed him to rely solely on the map. He moved swiftly, yet deliberately, constantly testing, probing, verifying. He reached for his bag of holding. With a swift motion, the iron sword he had stolen from the phantom materialized in his hand. As he extended his divine sense into the blade, a force unlike any ordinary metal resisted him, hidden deep within the rusted marks. It was as if some ancient power slept beneath its surface, refusing to be observed. Wang Lin's brow furrowed. The rust, ordinary to the eye, emitted a subtle, fishy scent when touched, yet the blade's reaction suggested far greater significance. As his fingers brushed the rust, a sharp, tearing sound cracked the air. Flowers around him flared with red light and collapsed into ruin. The once vibrant fields of blooms withered into dust, their enchantments shattered. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed, realizing the rust itself held a latent power, one that could annihilate the cave's botanical traps with but a touch. He tested it again, pointing at another swath of flowers, and they too succumbed, leaving only barren soil. The rust vanished, leaving him both awed and contemplative. He returned his focus to the iron sword. A surge of determination sparked, and the third eye between his brows opened, a red radiance spilling forth. Source origin energy poured into the blade, probing the rust marks. The sword began to turn transparent, yet the rust remained stubbornly unchanged. Invisible energies within the iron sword reacted violently, as though seeking to devour Wang Lin's very essence. With measured control, he withdrew, closing his third eye, and the energy subsided into quiet circulation. The blade's mystery lingered, tantalizing and profound. Wang Lin's curiosity grew. Slapping his bag of holding once more, 5 ancient sword sheaths materialized, relics from planet Suzaku, their effects uncertain but promising. One by one, he tested the iron sword with each sheath. When the blade slid into the third sheath, the runes carved upon it ignited with an intense brilliance. A terrifying aura erupted, resonating with power long sealed, reminiscent of the legendary pseudo-nirvana void arrow once wielded by esteemed Xuan Bao. Wang Lin's pulse quickened, but he resisted the temptation to fully draw the blade, leaving it sheathed and pressed onward with a heart alight with anticipation. Like a streak of lightning, Wang Lin moved along the narrow path. In an instant, he reached a modest pavilion, 2 floors tall, unremarkable yet marked by the first restriction eye. Only one who could open all 8 eyes would hope to enter the black fog beyond. His eyes swept the pavilion, its first-floor restrictions already dismantled, clearly by another hand. The cave had other seekers, then. Survivors of the celestial burial pool's collapse, possibly rivals, already ahead of him. He paused, surveying the surroundings with acute caution. Then, without hesitation, he pressed forward, stepping into the grass outside the pavilion. Each blade was a potential trap, yet Wang Lin's movements, guided by the map and his sharp intellect, bypassed them effortlessly. In mere heartbeats, he crossed the treacherous terrain. In the pavilion's northeast corner, the man in black, his hidden dragon mark visible, watched coldly. Opposite him, a striking middle-aged woman glared back, her voice both beautiful and hoarse, carrying a challenge. "Fellow cultivator, this is a simple restriction. Why must you steal it from me?" She had emerged from her own trials within weaker traps, her young companion safely in tow, and now she confronted this interloper. The man in black stepped forward, a trace of mockery in his gaze, preparing to enter the pavilion. The woman's eyes blazed with killing intent. With a blur, she charged, leaving only an afterimage. The man formed a seal, and black fog coalesced into a dragon, lunging to engulf her. In swift counteraction, she plucked 3 strands of her hair, chanting arcane words. They transformed into black pythons with blood-red mouths, clashing with the dragon-shaped fog in a display of controlled devastation. Their combined might stirred thunder within 1,000 feet, yet they restrained the chaos, wary of drawing attention. Why not seek the palace at the center, shrouded in black fog, instead of quarreling here? She demanded, summoning 5 colored swords in a sweeping attack. The man in black countered with a flying sword encased in black mist. Steel and energy clashed with crisp sounds, the pavilion trembling with suppressed fury. Understanding dawned between them. Their powers were matched. A prolonged battle would alert others. Quickly, the woman suggested retreat, to enter the transfer array within the pavilion and divide the spoils. Nodding silently, the man agreed, and together they vanished inside. And then the figure of Wang Lin emerged, stepping from the pavilion path. Both inside turned at once, his presence undeniable. The man in black smiled faintly, while the woman's expression twisted in shock. His cultivation had advanced, his aura now at the peak of the Nirvana Scryer stage. Hidden potential, or a sudden breakthrough? Her mind raced to understand him. Wang Lin, ever calculating, had discerned the pavilion's secrets without the map. An internal transfer array led to a hidden storage space. The woman proposed alliance, share the treasures. But before Wang Lin could respond, the earth trembled, and a monstrous roar split the air from the distance. His eyes scanned the horizon. Among the countless restrictions of the Celestial Emperor Cave, an obstacle of red mist and bamboo waited. The humanoid phantom, breaking restrictions faster than anticipated, surging forward with relentless force. Wang Lin's focus shifted. He abandoned words, racing toward the palace veiled in black fog. Each restriction along the path lay shattered, as if others had paved the way, but the true threat approached, unstoppable and eager to devour all in its path. The chase had begun, and in this deadly labyrinth, only those swift, cunning, and strong could hope to survive. The path ahead was a riot of colors, a corridor lined with countless blossoms, each more beautiful than the last. Yet beauty, as it often does in the world of cultivators, bore a hidden peril. These flowers were no mere adornment, they were sentinels of ancient restrictions. A single misstep, a careless touch, and they would spring to life, attacking, ensnaring, or whisking the unwary away to unknown corners of the Celestial Emperor Cave. Even the jade tiles beneath one's feet held secrets, poised to punish any who trod without caution. One wrong move, one step out of order, and death or entrapment would follow. Yet for Wang Lin, such dangers were but minor hurdles. The map he carried lacked solutions for these cunning traps, yet it held exhaustive knowledge of their designs. To most, this information might prove useless, but Wang Lin was a grandmaster of restrictions. With a mere glance, he could unravel their mysteries, turning a labyrinth of death into a navigable path. Still, his nature was cautious, skeptical of any tool, and he moved with both swiftness and careful scrutiny, testing every detail the map revealed. As he advanced, he slapped his bag of holding. Instantly, the iron sword he had recently claimed from the Phantom shimmered into his hand. Wang Lin extended his divine sense across the blade. Though it appeared mundane, a formidable resistance met him, an invisible barrier veiling the sword's essence. The rusted patches on its surface throbbed with the strongest of this hidden energy, impervious to divine probing. Wang Lin paused, puzzled. He recalled the expression of Tuo Sen's messenger when first glimpsing this very sword, not marveling at the iron itself, but at the enigmatic rust etched upon it. Intrigued, Wang Lin lifted his hand, brushing the rusty streaks gently. Red stains marked his palm, and a faint, fishy scent tickled his senses. Ordinary rust, he mused, yet as his hand drew away, a tearing crack split the air, and the very earth where he had passed seemed to shiver. A red glow surged across the nearby sea of flowers. One by one, the blossoms withered, their ancient restrictions collapsing in silence. Eyes alight with astonishment, Wang Lin tested this strange power again. A mere gesture of his rust-stained finger caused another stretch of flowers to shrivel into lifeless soil. The rust vanished from his hand as mysteriously as it had appeared. Heart pounding, he turned his gaze to the sword. He sensed something profound, something he could not yet comprehend. Steeling himself, he activated the third eye at his brow. Red light erupted, enveloping the iron sword as source origin energy flowed forth, focusing on the rust. Within this gaze, the sword became translucent, yet the rust remained unchanged. Invisible currents churned within the blade, seeking to devour the essence Wang Lin projected. He withdrew, severing the connection, the energy inside pausing before resuming its enigmatic dance. Bewildered but undeterred, Wang Lin considered the blade anew. Recalling his collection from planet Suzaku, he summoned 5 golden sword sheaths from his bag of holding, relics of uncertain power. One by one, he tested the iron sword against them. Only in the third sheath did the runes flare violently, a terrifying aura surging forth. With measured breaths, Wang Lin partially drew the sword. The sensation was intoxicating, echoing the might of a legendary artifact long lost, esteemed Xuanbao's pseudo-nirvana void arrow. Exhilarated, Wang Lin replaced the sword and surged forward along the narrow path, moving with the swiftness of a blade through air. Soon, he arrived at a modest 2-story pavilion, the first restriction eye of the first floor. Its defenses had already been breached by another hand, not long ago. Caution sharpened his senses. The cave was vast, its restrictions deadly, and he was clearly not alone in understanding them. Circling the pavilion with careful steps, Wang Lin's mind analyzed every blade of grass and every subtle signal of the environment. He advanced without triggering a single trap, crossing the area in the blink of an eye. Yet he was not alone. In the northeast corner, a man draped in black, bearing the hidden dragon mark, observed with icy scrutiny. Across the pavilion, a striking middle-aged woman glared, her voice tinged with both irritation and elegance. "Fellow cultivator, why claim what is already mine?" she asked, the undertone of authority unmistakable. Her path had been perilous, shaped by the collapse of the celestial burial pool and countless restrictions. With the girl she guided safely in tow and treasured gifts in hand, she had finally reached the pavilion, only to be met by the man in black. He stepped forward, a subtle smirk twisting his features, and the air around him darkened. Black fog coalesced, forming the shape of a dragon that lunged toward the woman. Swiftly, she pulled 3 strands of hair from her head, reciting an incantation that transformed them into 3 black pythons with crimson mouths. Their clash set off a contained storm, rumbles echoing within a 1,000-foot radius. Swords of elemental energy met black fog as both cultivators sought efficiency over spectacle. "Why not take the central palace surrounded by black mist instead of stealing from me here?" the woman suggested, 5 colored swords materializing from her form. The man's flying sword, shrouded in darkness, met them with sharp collisions, each strike sending tremors through the pavilion. "Nonsense," he replied. "You know where the treasures lie, so why hide?" Reason prevailed over pride. Recognizing the stalemate and the risks of exposure, they agreed to enter the pavilion's transfer array together, dividing their spoils. It was then that Wang Lin emerged, silent as a shadow. Both cultivators paused, their eyes betraying surprise and curiosity. The man in black smiled, while the woman's gaze flickered in astonishment, taking measure of his cultivation. He moved like one with the laws of nirvana, surging in power from what had once seemed modest, now peaking at the nirvana scryer stage. The woman's mind raced. Had he concealed his power, or had a recent breakthrough propelled him forward? Wang Lin's eyes, sharp and discerning, immediately detected the pavilion's secret, a hidden transfer array leading to a storage space. The woman, after contemplation, suggested a temporary alliance. Fellow cultivator Wang, let us join forces and share the treasures, she proposed. Before words could be exchanged, the ground quaked and a roar shattered the tense calm. In the distance, a bamboo forest loomed, veiled in monstrous red mist, a scene of chaos forged from broken restrictions. The humanoid phantom had advanced faster than anticipated, dismantling the traps in its path with terrifying efficiency. Without hesitation, Wang Lin pivoted, racing toward the palace shrouded in black fog. The path was treacherous, yet he had calculated it carefully. The route with the fewest remaining restrictions, now abandoned by others who were behind him. The man in black did not hesitate, pursuing Wang Lin with unrestrained speed. The beautiful woman faltered briefly, but the roar of the approaching threat propelled her forward as well. In this tangled web of ancient restrictions and martial prowess, the Celestial Emperor Cave seemed deceptively tranquil. Yet beneath the surface, a storm of power, strategy, and life-or-death urgency surged ever onward.